The Binarycore Podcast is brought to you this week by 2pipscast. 2Ps in a Podcast is a storytelling podcast by Gavin and James, where they discuss random subjects and tell stories about their life and friendships. Often they have guests. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not, but no episode is complete without a dick joke or two. Highbrow stuff. You can check out their stuff at 2pipscast.podbean.com or search for 2pipscast on iTunes. Also, check them out on Twitter at 2pipscast. You'll also be able to find a link to their sites in the link dump below.
Hello and welcome to this week's Binarycore Podcast. I'm Akythius and I'm joined by Spyro.
Woohoo!
And Blaze.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So this week we're going to talk about probably the major topic of the week for us is the Xbox One, and we're probably going to end up comparing it to the PlayStation 4. We're going to have a bit on the game Injustice Gods Among Us. Talk a bit about the latest DLC for Dishonored. We know we're a few weeks behind, but deal with it. And Mirror's Edge 2 is possibly coming. It's been leaked on Amazon. So, let's start with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So, do you guys both watch the launch?
Yeah, you know we watched the launch.
Yeah, I was just leading with a question.
Well, clearly, if people are listening to this, they've already seen our other video.
I don't watch most of our videos.
You were in that one, so it makes
the podcast.
So you were in that one, so it makes sense not to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so since the Xbox One launch, the voice controlled TV remote launch earlier this week, there's been a bit more information about used games and there's always online / check-in every 24 hours stuff. Do either you want to talk a bit about one of those?
Well, they did announce something about always on, but not always online, didn't they? The Connect add-on, which is needed now, is always on, always listening.
Yeah, so that's always on. It's in low power state, basically listening for you to say Xbox on. The stuff they revealed about the online stuff was rather than needing a constant internet connection, basically your console has to check in once every 24 hours.
What if it doesn't? What's the downside?
I don't know. I would presume that you can't play a game.
What, until you've checked in?
I would guess so, yeah.
Yes, that was it, because it needs, for the way that they're saying about
used games.
Yeah. Because when you hand in a game, you're basically taking it off your list. So if you haven't checked in that you've got rid of the game and taken it off your list, then technically you could still play it because it hasn't updated to the server and whatnot.
Yeah. That's right.
The one thing about that I didn't get is because Matt sent us the article, and he was saying that apparently if you buy a used game, you'd have to pay for it twice. Now, I didn't see that anywhere in the article.
I didn't understand it that way. The way that I understood it was that you have to pay basically some like 35 quid for the game. And it actually kind of makes sense in a way.
Oh,
because
I thought it was a good idea.
So it's like, but then that kind of brings the question in my mind, why would you buy a second-hand game if you could buy it new for the same sort of price?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of killing the second-hand game market. But it's a good business strategy. But yeah, it's a bit harsh on the gamers that can't afford to always buy the new games when they come out. They have to they want to be able to buy it second-hand so they can play these games. Or
it's so much cheaper anyway. It's like I tend to play games like usually quite a while after they come out, and when it comes to console ones, I just go and buy like 3 second-hand games for like 15, 20 quid. Yeah. And it's just cheaper than paying 120 quid for 3 games. It's like 20 quid.
Yeah. The other thing as well that it prevents, and this is something that I do a lot, is borrowing a mate's games, because you don't always know if you're going to like a game. You don't want to spend 40 to 50 quid on a game and then find out actually I don't like this. You want to be able to play it before. There isn't enough demos there isn't a demo for every game so you can test it. But like what I do now is I will borrow if a friend of mine gets a game, I can borrow it from him, try it out, and if I like it, I'll go and buy that game.
Simple solution.
Isn't it really interesting? Actually, I watched I finally got around to watching the PlayStation 4 launch last night, and they actually have a really good solution for this, believe it or not. Basically, every single game that's on their store, you can stream it. Well, basically, you can stream it as in the background, but you can stream it for free for like a certain amount of time to see if you like the game or not. And if you do like it, then you can buy it. And
Brilliant.
That is such a good idea.
And the other way to do it is the way that Steam do it. And especially with the whole you having to register what games you have, it makes it even easier. If I have a game, I can, with Steam, I can lend it to Adam via Steam. I can no longer play it until he returns it to me.
The thing is, that's only certain games and limited amounts of time.
But still, that solves the
nice
issue.
More,
it solves the issue. If you have to register games, then I register my game and I say, but for the next 2 weeks, this one's for Adam. That way I can't play it, but Adam can play it. It's a simple way around it.
Yeah, yeah.
But whether that's that might be something that Steam have got a patent on, and I don't know.
I think the kind of fact is more that for every game that someone lends, that's one less sale.
Yeah, but if it's like you can only play the first level,
then
it might end up being one extra sale that you wouldn't have got had that person not played that first level.
Yeah,
and
that's
enjoyed
the thing.
it.
Then it's like, on the flip side, it's kind of like what Cindy doing with the PS4 and have been able to download and play the first bit of the game for free.
Yeah.
But it's like the kind of, I don't know what's going on with OnLive these days, but on that, you can play like a game for some, like half an hour, I think, for free.
Yeah, you've got 30 minutes of the game.
So that's a pretty good idea because it's like it gives you an opportunity to try out a game before you buy it, and games are a lot of money, so I really like that idea.
I figured out where on that article Matt sent us where it did say where it said something about paying twice, but it wasn't about you having to pay, because Matt said it was you pay the £35 when you buy the game, and then when you register that game online, he said that you pay again. That I didn't see that anywhere in the article. The only part of it where it involves paying twice is Microsoft and the developers get paid twice, because they get the money when the first person buys the game, but when the second person buys the game, they get money again.
Yeah, because the retailer only gets something like 10%, which isn't much.
No. I thought it was the other way around. It was 10% had to go to the companies.
No, 10% to the retailer.
But that's only depending on how much they put the price as, because the whole point of the article was the retailer can set the prices whatever they want as long as Microsoft and the developers get their money. They can put whatever markup on that they want. Is why they said £35 as a rough price. When was the last time you saw a second-hand game £35?
Never.
Exactly. They're like 10, 12. Yeah,
I would never pay £35.
You go into Computer Exchange and they're about 10, 12 pounds, 15, 20 at the most.
Did you really call it by its full name then?
Computer Exchange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than sex?
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone refer to it.
Mate of mine used to work there, and their way they answered the phone was Sex Central. They were told off because some old lady complained. Why an old lady was ringing.
You never know. Those shops, actually no, let's not talk about it. Anyway, so I said a few minutes ago I watched the PlayStation 4 launch last night, and do you know what? At this point in time, I'm actually more leaning towards the PlayStation 4 at this point. It's like I really want to continue the Halo series on the Xbox One, but after watching the launch, it's like the PlayStation 4 launch was about games and gaming, and the Xbox One launch was about a fucking TV remote.
I explained this to you earlier. It was because on the PlayStation launch, they were launching a console. Microsoft weren't launching a console. They were launching
a voice-controlled TV remote.
Voice-controlled TV remote, a complete home entertainment system. That's why they didn't focus on gaming, because if they did, then people would be like, but you only focused on one aspect of like the 7 things this can do. But you didn't show off all of it.
The other thing to look at or to remember as well is Sony did theirs ages ago, back in April. February. Wow. See, yeah, ages ago. Xbox are doing it now. E3 is only a few weeks away. They can't. They're going to have big game reveals at E3. If they
I'm not convinced.
Is why we didn't have Halo 5.
Here's my issue with the Xbox One launch, right, is that they focus on TV and stuff. I get that they want to make it more than just a games console. Apart from the fact that that launch is mainly going to be watched by gamers. So it's like you're basically alienating your key audience here with the console. And it's quite frankly, it's just, all the stuff they've added to me is just a gimmick. I think they've done a Windows 8 with the Xbox One so far.
The way I saw it was more along the lines of, alright gamers, this is on your gaming console. we're giving you a gaming console, but this is what else we're going to give you.
Yeah,
This is why you should go with us rather than the PlayStation 4, because we're not just giving you a gaming console, we're giving you a lot more.
they're talking to their key audience and letting them know what else they can do, because they're expanding their key audience of gamers and making them branch out into these other things. A way to make more money off them, but a way to give them a different experience. So I wouldn't say they're alienating them. They're trying to get their key audience to broaden their own horizons.
Yeah, the one thing you knew about
the
one thing you knew about the Xbox One going into the conference was it's a gaming console that you're going to play games on. They didn't really need to explain that so much.
They should talk more about what games they've got coming it on. The only one that they revealed wasn't even an Xbox exclusive, and the whole thing just came across as poor. It's like, as a gamer, it's like, I would, if they'd done a decent launch, I would now be leaning towards Xbox One simply because I like the Halo series and I want to continue on it. But the fact that Sony have actually marketed it so far as a gaming console rather than a TV remote has actually got me swayed that way at the minute.
I've got a feeling, and I'm going to call this now, after E3 you're going to be swaying towards Xbox One again.
I don't think I will. But
I think you
we'll
will.
see how it goes.
Because
really
they'll announce more games and you'll be like, okay, so they are putting a lot of games into this. And then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to go back to the Xbox One. I like the idea of the Xbox One now. Not just because of Halo, but partially because of Halo. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it looks like they've got exactly the same that the PlayStation 4's got, but they've put in all this extra TV stuff.
The thing is, I really think they've cocked up with this TV stuff, right? Because they've got this such focus on live TV and people having set-top boxes. First of all, set-top boxes are a big thing in America, but not so much over here, like cable TV and so on.
Yeah.
And people are going away from watching broadcast TV towards video on demand. So why they've decided to put such a focus on broadcast TV is completely beyond me. I think it's a colossal, idiotic idea. I really wish they hadn't, because it's just like, it's so backwards compared to the way TV is.
Can you tell me now, what has the PlayStation 4 got that the Xbox One hasn't? And don't say more games and stuff, because you don't know that. What is...
Okay, I can tell you about the technical details if you want.
Because they actually released some.
Yeah. Okay, that was something that really wound me up about the Xbox One, is they gave out these supposed tech specs, things like 5 billion transistors, or was it 5 million or whatever. It actually means nothing. It's not even... You can't judge what... The only way that we know what the console is like is because of specs that have been leaked, otherwise not official specs released by Microsoft. And it's a massive cock-up, quite frankly. At the minute, Sony have the edge, partly because of, well, the main thing would be the memory. They both got 8 gig, but the Xbox One has DDR3, whereas the PlayStation 4 uses GDDR5, which is phenomenally quicker than DDR3. That's going to be kind of the main point. There's also some nuances with the processors and the graphics cards and so on, or graphics chips, I should say. But in terms of performance, the PlayStation 4 is going to be better. Whether it's going to be noticeable or not is an entirely different matter, of course. So from a technical point of view, it's better. But the other thing that kind of really... What sold me from the conferences after watching both of them is the things like how much... I think basically Sony have learned from their mistakes that they made during like the lifetime of PlayStation 3 and fucking over people and so on. And one of the things that actually kind of got me kind of interested was having things like their share stuff, where it's like you can broadcast your gameplay to your friends, for example, or you can record videos and upload the clips straight away, send screenshots and that sort of thing, which I thought was a really good idea. And I think they're kind of taking a leaf out of Microsoft's book with their approach to like how people join together. So the partying system on the Xbox 360 has always been way better than PlayStation 3. But they're bringing in that kind of thing to PlayStation 3, which I think is about time.
Well, it sounds like as well that the Xbox has something similar to... I mean, obviously, it doesn't sound like they've got the actual sharing the gameplay as it happens. But they've got the built-in recording thing. Has gone.
Well, apparently.
So, yeah. But, I mean, that could mean that you're recording and uploading quick videos like you are with the PS4 anyway. So, they might have that, and they just haven't announced that bit yet. But, yeah, okay.
It's very possible, but the thing that really has swayed me so far is that the impression that I've had so far is that Sony gets gaming and Microsoft doesn't. And it's like,
But are you basing that on because they announced all this other entertainment stuff and not more on games?
It's not just that. I've been thinking about like their approaches, like gaming platforms, like in the sum total of the time that they've both been doing it. And I really do think that Sony tend to understand gaming better than Microsoft do, because Microsoft have got this whole vision that they're trying to push. The Xbox is like part of their strategy, like a whole connected home idea, and everything's smart and all talks to each other and that sort of thing. Whereas Sony's pushing a games console, and it's like jack of all trades and master of none kind of thing. Where I think that the Xbox ties into Microsoft's vision for like the living room and all that sort of thing, and they've got some really cool new tech, and the Kinect and so on is really impressive, but at the same time, I don't think it really works that well for gaming, and as a games console, really not sold on it.
The thing is, I mean, you say they don't get gaming. I kind of feel like we're going back a generation here, or to the current gen. The Xbox 360. I mean, you look at how many games the titles that were on both 360 and PlayStation 3. How many of those were better on the 360, despite the PlayStation 4 having a better system?
That's a really interesting one, actually, which is another point. Leads on to something else I want to talk about.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
It's about developing for the console, basically. The PlayStation 3 was notoriously difficult to develop for. Valve got to the point where they were just like, we're not developing for it ourselves, we'll get other companies to do it for us. That was a real major fuck-up on Sony's part.
Yeah.
They did a really good job in terms of, like, their hardware is superb, it's great technology, but they really dropped the ball with the PlayStation 2 when it came to how difficult it was to develop for.
And they have said now that they spoke to game developers. But they've done that. But how have Microsoft done? Have they done better again? If Microsoft have found a better way of making it even easier for developers, and I think due to the fact that they clearly made it easier with the 360, they have a better understanding maybe already of what a developer needs.
Yeah, well, Microsoft's a software company, so they know all about development. But the kind of interesting part in terms of like gaming is when it comes down to indie games, which is obviously it's taking off in a pretty big way these days. And there's completely opposite approaches from Sony and Microsoft when it comes to indie gaming. Initially, Microsoft had the whole Xbox Live Arcade and so on, and you had to pay a certain fee to actually get your game on Xbox Live Arcade and then approval and that sort of thing. And it's always been a bit easier to get it onto PlayStation, and they're completely changing it with the PlayStation 4 as well to actually make it really easy to be able to publish games onto PlayStation 4. And because it's basically PC hardware, as is the Xbox One, it's going to be easy to develop for both. It's like if you can get your game to run on a normal PC, you can almost certainly get it to run with a few tweaks on both consoles. But so that kind of leaves the issue is not the hardware and right for the platform, but how do you get your game to people? And with Microsoft taking a kind of not anti-approach to indie gamer, but making it a lot more difficult. Things like they discontinued the XDK or XNA, whereas Sony are taking the opposite approach this time. It's kind of like, as far as indie games go, I think Sony are going to make it a lot easier in this next generation than Microsoft are. So I think we're going to see a lot of indie games going to the PlayStation rather than the Xbox.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think Sony do have the advantage on indie games this time around.
So one thing I want to bring up about, you were saying that you think that Sony know how to make a games console where Xbox don't. The one thing that I always didn't understand about the PlayStation 3, and I don't know if it's changing with the PlayStation 4, is why can only one person log into that console at a time? The only way you can get a second person to play is if the game allows for a second person to log in. It's the only way you can get a second person to log into the console. So in that respect,
otherwise you have to be a guest on the other person's account. It's changing PlayStation 4. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. If they're really thinking about games more than Xbox, they need to be thinking about gamers, and co-op gaming is a very big thing.
Yeah. So that was another thing that I've kind of learned as well, is that in terms of the PlayStation 3, I think Sony's approach to gaming was very much about either the kind of single-player game where you just sit down and play a game on your own, or you play
the multiplayer
online. But the partying
different
wasn't...
places.
Well, there's no partying type of thing. It wasn't that great. I think from what they've announced so far, they've made huge changes to that aspect, and they really are taking it so it's easier to play with other people, and like with your friends and so on, and group up and do proper co-op play and that sort of thing, which is something that Microsoft got right with the 360. So it's kind of an interesting turn, but I think from looking at both launches and what's been announced so far, I really do think that Sony, in terms of gaming, are doing a better job at the moment because they've actually sort of focused on what do gamers want, what sort of games they want, and what to bring to the console, whereas Microsoft is still trying to push, like, because it's like the whole company strategy, it's the whole connected home type thing as well. It's like, I don't think they've got enough focus on gaming to sell a games console, and as cool as the technology is and some of the stuff they've announced, like the Illumini Room stuff, really cool idea, but I think they kind of lost it at the minute, but we'll see what comes up at E3 and in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, definitely at E3, we're going to see all of the games that Xbox didn't announce just now, and then maybe you might change your opinion on it. Because I still think that they didn't announce them at the conference because there were other things they wanted to talk about, and if they just talked about gaming, then they wouldn't have shown off the console for everything that it can do.
But here's another kind of, an interesting kind of thing is that before I watched the PlayStation 4 launch, I was kind of like on the fence because Microsoft really kind of put me off with their launch for the Xbox One, but I'm invested in the Halo series and I want to see the end of the Gamer trilogy. However, having now actually watched the PlayStation 4 launch as well, it's kind of like, in my mind, it's that Sony actually do get gaming, which Microsoft really, at the current point in time, as we currently stand, really don't seem to. But we'll see what things happen.
I think you're focusing too much on the other stuff that they released and just making the assumption from that, saying like, oh, okay, they're going towards other stuff as well now, so they don't get gaming anymore.
Why can't they do all of it?
Yeah, I think they get gaming. I don't think Microsoft get that people don't just want gaming.
I get that people don't just want gaming. I mean, it's like I watch like a lot of Netflix, for example, on my Xbox. But the more I think about it, the more I think that Microsoft don't necessarily get gaming really that much at all. I mean, a lot of their sort of stuff when it comes to gaming isn't all that great. I mean, the only reason they have, you know, a really great exclusive series is because they bought Bungie for a while and have spun off their own studio. Whereas Bungie have gone off separately again and they're doing Destiny, which does look really good.
Did you see anything about them buying the rights for achievements for TV shows?
I saw something about the patent.
Yeah.
That kind of also kind of still gets to me as like, why?
No, I brought this up because I knew you
why.
wouldn't like it.
Well, other than the fact that I think achievements are bullshit anyway, but I really don't understand why you want to get achievements to watching TV.
No,
achievements are a part of gaming now. I'm sorry, you don't get gaming.
No, he's right there. Your achievements doesn't make complete sense because an achievement is part of the game. I get that you just want to play the storyline. You can just do that. You can get the achievements that happen through it.
I'll tell you why I don't like achievements. It's because I think that achievements drive down the standards of production for gaming, where studios go, okay, so rather than investing like more time in making more gameplay and so on, we'll add in an achievement system so people can go and get a little bleep bloop or whatever. And it's like, that's fair enough.
Specifically,
fine.
which company did this?
I don't know. This is like my impression.
I can't listen to your point then.
I'm just going to throw something out there. Mass Effect 3 had a hell of a lot of achievements for doing random stuff that wasn't important. Mass Effect 3 was an amazing game. It's an amazing game.
Brilliant. No.
Yeah, the story, the gameplay, everything is just spot on in that game. Despite people's ramblings about the ending, I think it's actually quite a good ending.
All right.
And Dishonored.
I was going to say Dishonored. With Dishonored, if you look at the achievements before playing it and go, oh, that achievement there is for not killing anyone and not alerting any of the guards, I'm going to go for that achievement. You enter yourself in a brilliant style of gameplay, but then on your next playthrough, you go for the High Chaos one. So I was just saying the Low Chaos, now go for the High Chaos. You're playing a completely different game. Basically, you've got two games there, because I'm playing through the High Chaos now, and it's not the same game. So the achievements do change the storyline.
But why do you need achievements to drive different ways of playing? Why can't you just play it differently yourself? Why do you need an achievement for that? And to me, it just like it basically in my mind is like a completely false way of achieving something. It's just like this way of just kind of going, oh well, I did this in a game. It's like, well done, but why should you limit yourself to aiming for things that are all kind of dictated by the developers? For example, why not find other things to do?
Right, what you're saying.
It really annoys me.
People are more likely to. You could say to people, "Oh, play through Dishonored without killing anyone and without alerting anyone." As in, say there were no achievements at all. If you play through the game like this, it will be very different to playing through the game by killing everyone and making sure every guard knows you're there. But if you don't have the achievement there, people have no. There's no carrot to make them do it. The incentive. Having the achievement there, you can kind of look at it and go, "That was a really hard thing to do. I was able to do that."
Do you really need like some kind of
gamers do need that, and that's why it's there.
The thing is, I'm the kind of person I'll complete a game and then I'm done. Once I've completed the game the first time around, I don't see a reason to play it again. If I really enjoyed it, I might pick it up occasionally to do random missions here and there. Now, Deus Ex is a game where I tried to play it a second time. I couldn't because it was too tough for me to do it that way. I played for it normally the first time, but there's an achievement for playing through without killing a single person. Low chaos, basically. And I actually tried doing that. I spent quite a long time trying to go through it, doing it that way. I wouldn't have done that if there wasn't an achievement for me, if there wasn't a suggestion that, hey, why don't you try doing it this way? It's like, you don't have to. I mean, if you don't get the achievement, it's not like you failed at life or failed this game. It's you can get this achievement. Why don't you try doing it this way? And if you do it this way, we're going to give you something for it. We're going to say, okay, here's an achievement. When you complete a game, the achievement is, like, I mean, before achievements existed, when you complete a game, you get the achievement of, I completed the game. But there's nothing to say, I completed the game this way. There's now an incentive and a reason to go through it a second time. And Saints Row 2 as well. I've completed that game 3 different times. The first time I did it on my own, then there's an achievement for doing it co-op, and then there's an achievement for doing it 100% and doing everything perfectly in it. And I've done all 3 of those because I enjoyed it the first time. I enjoyed playing through it the second time, and because there was the option there, or there was this achievement that said, do this, I did it that way as well, because I had something to aim for.
Basically, all our reasons for saying achievements are good are ones that you don't like, because you're saying, oh, you shouldn't need that incentive and whatnot. But that's what the reasons are behind it. And the gamer industry, the gamers, they want that incentive. They want to go, I got this achievement, look at me. I completed this part of the game. It was a really hard thing to do. I did it, and there's my proof of it. It's just.
I'm not convinced.
I know you're not convinced. I know you're not convinced. You're not going to be convinced, but it's what people want.
But it's like, I just don't understand, like, the whole, like, to me, it's like a false sense of achievement type of thing. It's like, the kind of sense of achievement should be like, sort of completing the game and so on. It shouldn't be that you need, like, it just feels fake to me, basically, to have like an achievement to say, well done, you did this or whatever. It's like, why do you need an achievement for it? It's like the ones that really wind me up, the ones where you just play through the game normally. It's like, I played Bioshock Infinite, and at the end of every single level, it's like, you got an achievement completing this level. It's like, so fucking what? I completed the level. Why do I need an achievement just for completing part of the game?
Thing. You know how far. Like, you could look at your friend. Your friend's got the game. You go, I wonder how far he is in it. Oh look, I can see that he's got the 7th level achievement. He's 7 levels into it. I know it's not. You could just ask him, and I know it's nothing massive, but it's something you can do.
I always just ask people because
a lot of people don't like talking to you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's only you.
I disagree with that point. I disagree with that point, John. I don't think James likes talking to you either.
I don't like him either.
Really? You've never even met him.
No, thankfully.
But no, I think it's that extra incentive there. Some people don't need it, but other people might need it because other people don't like to play through games a second time, and they might get a hell of a lot more enjoyment playing through that second time because they've been given this incentive to do so. Like playing through it in a special way, and like, oh yeah, I actually really enjoy doing it that way. Wouldn't have done that before. That achievement gave me a reason to do that, so I did it. And so you're saying it's false, but it's also giving people who wouldn't do that normally the opportunity to do, or a reason to do that, and they may find that they enjoy something more than what they normally do. What they thought was their comfort zone, they've stepped out of it, tried it something differently, and enjoyed it more, and they probably do that for other games. Like, if I played through Dishonored now, I'd try and do the low chaos, because I really enjoyed trying to do that in Deus Ex. Even though I failed abysmally.
So, to stop Dave rage quitting this podcast, let's try and move on. We spoke about Dishonored.
I don't actually ever rage quit.
I know you don't. It was a good segue. Talking about Dishonored, you loved the DLC, right?
I couldn't get into it at all.
You fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep.
I know, but it's funnier that way. The thing is, I really liked the DLC playing as Dowd. It was a nice change of pace, because you've been playing as Corvo the whole way through. It was nice to play as the antagonist.
Well, I kind of thought I would. I was really looking forward to it, and I sat down to play it, and it didn't grip me at all. I haven't managed to quantify it yet, why it didn't. But
I'm trying to think what happens at the beginning. You watch the cutscene for killing the Empress, but from Dowd's point of view. That was quite good.
Well, I got to the point where it's like the...
Oh, you got to break into the whaling place.
That's the one, yeah. So I've just got to the point where you...
Have you seen the whales yet?
I've seen the one that's kind of just there going... Argh.
The one you come in, when it's suspended in the air and they're cutting all the oil out of it.
I was about to tell you where I got up to.
Is that
just up to the guy who owns that factory.
Yeah.
And then my game crashed and I was frustrated and bored of it, so I quit.
So that's why it's because it crashed and you just couldn't be bothered to start again.
So he rage quit, was that? He rage quit because his game crashed and then he didn't go back and play it again. Okay, let's carry on. That's good.
Not rage quitting.
Oh,
no, it's like because I couldn't get into it, I just wasn't enjoying it at all. It just felt kind of almost tedious. I don't know.
I've using that word for games a lot lately. Tedious.
I don't know. I really enjoyed Bioshock Infinite. That wasn't tedious. But no, I just couldn't get into it. It just didn't hook me in the same way that the original game did. I want to sit down and give it another go again, but it was just kind of like, I don't know what it was about it. It just didn't feel quite the same to me.
Because it wasn't underwater, it was in the air?
I'm talking about Dishonored now.
Oh, sorry, I thought you went back to Bioshock Infinite.
You
said that it didn't grip you as much.
No, he meant...
Oh, no, I was talking about... Yeah.
Ah, okay.
The Bioshock stuff was about it not being tedious.
Oh, you didn't think it was tedious?
No. And
so I've heard a lot of complaints about Bioshock Infinite, about how there was so much more they could have done with it, with the whole sort of, you know how the girl can make those tears in time?
Yeah.
How in the trailers it was bigged up to be this massive thing, and, you know, the way that she can just call in items from other worlds, how that could have been used to so much more effect, and how it was done really poorly.
I thought it was done really well, actually. It's like, it links in pretty amazingly with the plot, and it links to some sort of interesting hopping between...
I think the bit I heard was, why is it always a mounted turret hanging off a wall?
What?
Stuff like that. From the person I heard it saying, it was saying quite often, like just a mounted gun would appear, or just really pointless things. That why is it always that? Why wasn't there more? Why didn't a train appear out of somewhere and run people over?
I don't think it would work in like the terms of how the game plays.
Okay, it's just it seemed very, you know, every time it was used, it was a very specific thing. It wasn't random enough. If you're moving around like this, shouldn't there be a more randomness to things that are being pulled in? I mean, I don't know. I haven't played the game, so I'm just going by what I've heard.
Right. I'll just the first one first. Like things like the train going through, it does it do at one point to block a path. But basically, a tear isn't something coming through from another universe or so on. It's just like that a certain area of space. Like say, imagine it's 2D space. It's a circle, and within that circle is from the other dimension or time or whatever.
Okay, but then why is it always a gun? According to this guy, it's always a mounted turret or something.
It's not. There's things like basically in like major battle sort of sections, you get things like you can basically pick which tear you want open at a time. So sometimes you can get a turret. Sometimes you can get this big kind of mechanical fighting machine called a Patriot. Other times you can pull through medical kits or weapons and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't really see what the issue is.
The other one I've been told is that the handymen are
Annoying as fuck.
Annoying and overpowered for no reason. It was basically we need a replacement for the Big Daddy, so we shove in these things, and apparently it just wasn't done as well.
I only came across maybe 2 or 3 of them in the entire game, and they were annoying as hell.
Did you manage to kill one only by shooting it in its heart?
No.
Because you get an achievement for that. I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, I did.
You should totally go back and play again and try and do that.
No, I actually started the game on normal, and it got to the point where it was just like, it was above my skill level, so I switched to easy. I finished easy.
Type in the Konami... Oh, actually, no, you completed the games, you can do it that way. Go play in 1999 mode. But the problem I have with...
the difficulty is like, I switched
No.
to easy. Why did I play in 99 mode?
The idea of that is meant to be a completely balanced version of gaming, but from what I've heard from other people, it's not balanced, it's messed up. It's not done in the right way. Like... It's not...
What do you mean?
It's meant to be balanced, like you can pick to do... Because you've got the 3 ways that salts work, the 3 different things you can apply them to. It's apparently meant to make that more balanced, but apparently not.
Okay, I didn't think it was unbalanced.
But this is what I've heard from people.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. No issues with the test. The only kind of, I suppose, if you want one downside, is the fact that most of the story happens in the last half an hour, and it is a phenomenal ending, and you got to think about it. Brilliant ending, but between those 2 points, there's not a huge amount of story development. Well, there's a lot of character development, but the story doesn't get pushed forward all that much. You kind of know what you're aiming for.
The
ending kind of flips everything on its head, and is just brilliant.
See, the thing that's really confused me about this game is, from all the trailers that I've seen, what's the girl called?
Elizabeth.
She's all up in some big tower, and there's a giant robot bird holding her. Yet in a lot of the gameplay I've seen, I don't see any of this robot bird thing about.
That's kind of towards the last half hour of the game. It comes up occasionally. I can't say too much because it will spoil.
Yeah, no. It's just and then also her character design seems to be different from the trailers and the actual gameplay. So I was confused to whether all this stuff I saw in the trailers or early stuff, whether that had been removed from the game, because she didn't look exactly the same and she looked a bit different, and this whole bird was completely gone. So I didn't know whether big changes had happened.
The bird is definitely in the game.
Okay.
I don't know about characters. I've not seen any of the trailers. So.
Basically, what she's wearing isn't what she's wearing in the...
She wears different things at different
times. Okay, well, normally games don't often do that. Games don't often do that, do they? Things are very the same the whole way through.
But there is a reason for that, but again, that would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it does change what she's wearing, but I won't say any more than that.
Okay, no, don't worry about it.
But it's an incredibly fun game. It's basically an on-rail shooter, really. The weapons and vigors are pretty fun to use. You have to use vigors. You can't complete the game, or rather, you will not survive combat if you don't learn.
I'm sure there's an achievement for not using vigors.
I've no idea.
I'm going to look it up.
You should go and try play through the game again and see if you can get that achievement.
Don't care. I'm not spending another 20 hours on the same game. I've got loads of games to play, unfortunately. So, but
yeah, me too.
No, it's a really good fun game. It's kind of a refreshing change in shooters. The weapons are quite clever in how they do it. There's some really interesting.
Okay, there isn't an achievement for not using vigors, so. Don't worry about it.
There you go. In terms of like the design, Columbia looks absolutely beautiful. The storyline, although there's not a huge amount of development in the main part of the game, the ending really is top notch. It's great storytelling.
Did you use all telescopes and kaleidoscopes? Oh, sorry, kinetoscopes in the game.
Fuck off about achievements already.
Did you collect every voxophone? I'm just...
No, I didn't. I don't care.
Complete 1999 mode without... Oh yeah, this is one that I thought sounded really stupid.
God.
Complete the game in 1999 mode without purchasing anything from a dollar bill vending machine. So not only are you playing the game in hard mode, you can't buy anything.
Yeah, that would be really tough. That would be really, really difficult. Basically, the dollar bill machine's the way you get things like ammo and health and salts and so on.
That sounds a lot harder than the Dishonored one. The stupidly hard way that I decided I was going to play it.
Oh right. It's a pretty tough game anyway. Like I said, like playing on normal, it was above my skill level, and it's like It's a pretty rough game in terms of like the combat. There's a lot of enemies and they take a lot of...
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind. I'm just having a look. I thought I'd have a look on True Achievement. Does anyone here use True Achievements?
Yeah, I do use True Achievement.
Yeah. Do you, Dave? Do you know what it is? Oh, you probably wouldn't because it's achievements.
I know
Basically,
what
what
it
it is. Yeah. Looking at that, the one John just brought up, Scavenger Hunt, it's called, completing the game. 4,533 tracked gamers have unlocked it. That's 12% of the people who have the game have managed to do that.
Which achievement was that?
The complete 99 mode without using a dollar bill vending machine.
Yeah, with achievements, it's stats. You can see some really nice stats, and Dave, you love stats. So you can see some very interesting things, especially with the True Achieve.
Okay, you're still not going to sell me on this anyway. So.
No, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just saying there are some upsides to achievements. I'm not going to make you, at the end of this conversation, be like, oh, do you know what? Achievements are amazing. But there are positives to them.
Sure. Anyway, so
We've
my
really
game
convinced
from
you
that is a great game, and I really recommend it.
So have we got anything we can talk about which doesn't make you be angry at us about achievements?
We've
Have
got
you seen-
Injustice and Mirror's Edge 2 to talk about.
Fuck,
Ooh,
they're going to have
Mirror's Edge
achievements, aren't they? But yeah, so Mirror's Edge 2...
Non-gaming, if you want.
No, Mirror's Edge 2, we all knew it was coming, but now you're saying it's more definite.
Didn't it get cancelled?
kind of.
Didn't it get, like...
There was
They
kind
say
of...
it's not happening now. And
It went a bit weird for a while, but
Because that was meant to be a trilogy, wasn't it?
it's been confirmed that it's in production at DICE in Sweden, Mirror's Edge 2. And it popped up briefly on Amazon Germany as being for sale.
I'm just looking at it now, an IGN article for it.
So, who knows, we might hear something about it at E3. I'm going to have my fingers crossed. I really love Mirror's Edge.
From what the rumours I hear, is it's one of the release titles for Xbox One.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
So we've got Trevor over here. I think he would have been quite good to have on this because he would have been on your side, I would assume, a lot about the Xbox One versus PlayStation.
Well, the thing is, like, at the end of the day, I'll probably just end up buying both anyway, so it's just which one I buy first, and it's going to be 4.
You say that now, I still think after E3, you're going to change your mind. I really do.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you what, after E3, we're going to do another podcast.
We're going to do an E3 discussion, so you have to try and be on that.
I think we'd have to have multiple E3 discussions because there's probably going to be a lot announced. Given
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be
okay,
cohesive.
so we'll redo this conversation after E3, then we'll redo it the day before the launch of all the consoles, then we'll do it a week after once you've bought one, then we'll do it a couple of months after, and we'll get a timeline of how pissed off Dave is about which console he's picked. Do you know what? I wish I had the Xbox One right now. I'm missing my Halo.
Oh, we have to do that.
I wouldn't actually buy a console like for probably a few months after it's released because, well, hardware problems inevitably.
Yeah, never buy first batch.
No, ever.
I just a quick statistic here. I thought I'd let you know this. Apparently, the hardest achievement to get is from Gears of War Judgment, and it's called Sybarite.
What do you do?
You earn the Onyx War Supporter Medal. The ratio for actual score to achievement score is 86.
Okay, one thing that I don't think that could work as well because that's a pretty new game,
Yeah.
so not a lot of people would have got that medal or your Onyx medal or whatever. So I don't know how true that will be. Like in a couple of months, that may not be the hardest achievement.
Yeah. At the moment, that's worth 4,300 gamer score. On although hold on, apparently 30,000 gamers have that score. Oh no, 30,000 gamers have the game. Only one has completed it. That's insane. But Death Smiles. Does anyone know what Death Smiles is? Anyone heard of Death Smiles? No. But there's an achievement on that as well. That's worth a lot.
Okay.
Am I alone all of a sudden? No one's
I don't know what. Anyway, so right, Injustice. Tell us about it.
Oh, it's a beat 'em up. Obviously, it's the DC set in the DC universe, and
I have to do a quick plug. Check out Lance's video on it. There we go.
Plug. There we go. Plugged. Yeah, no. Basically, what happens is it's set in two universes. So you've got an alternate DC universe where Superman has actually gone bad because Joker drugged him and made him kill his wife and son. And so he's gone crazy and is just being general bad guy.
General bad guy. So I was saluting that.
Fair enough. But in the original universe, Joker is about to set off a nuke. All the Justice League superheroes, whatever, are running towards him to try and stop him, and half of them get transported to this other dimension just before it happens. And so it starts with Joker fighting Batman in this dimension, and then a squadron appears and tries to take out Batman because they're being run by Superman and they want to take down Batman because Batman's Superman's main opposition in this. And basically you're going through and you're trying to defeat Superman's League of Evil Peoples. But the way it's done is brilliant. It's a proper storyline, and the transition from the storyline to the fights.
Oh, it's seamless. It's brilliant. Like the cutscene will be happening, and the camera will be panning around a character, and you're thinking, "Oh, it's just going to spin round. We're going to see something else." Spins round, suddenly health bars appear, and you're in battle, and you're like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know that was going to happen."
There is a little icon at the bottom right to let you know that's going to happen, so you're not suddenly thrust in.
Yeah, but it's not
does
like a
seamlessly.
stop loading screen. You're there. It's just the camera pans round, so you're now on the side of him, and it's perfect.
I don't actually remember seeing any loading screens. I think even between chapters, the loading screen was the chapter screen, as in like, not even a chapter screen, it was another cutscene.
The loading screen is just, it will be a cutscene, and it will say chapter 7 along the bottom, something like that.
Yeah.
But while the cutscene's still going on, so it would have made a difference.
Each chapter you play as a different character as well. So the first chapter is Batman, second one is Green Lantern.
The part of the game I saw was Cyborg and then Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So I think it was 7 and 8. 7 and 8, I think. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you know what the surprising part is? I think one of the best and most overpowered characters in the game is Aquaman.
Which, if you know anything about DC, he's the worst and underpowered character in DC.
But he's awesome in this. It's crazy and it doesn't make sense.
So yeah, there was a cutscene where he was like riding on the back of some squid or whatever, and there were loads, like thousands of them in the ocean, and they were all getting ready to launch an attack. And I was just like, damn, Aquaman never did that before. He'd go talk to a seahorse randomly, you know.
His special move is him summoning a wave, and then he stabs you with his trident, lifts you up, and then a shark swims along and eats you.
Nice. Can you jump the shark?
Oh,
Sigh.
There should be an achievement for that. Anyway.
One other quick one, moving away from games. Arrested Development, Season 4, on Netflix now.
All of it is on Netflix now.
It's all gone up today.
It's going to be awesome.
Do either of you guys watch Breaking Bad?
No, I have it, and it's one that I want to get around to watching, but I want to finish what I'm watching at the moment, so I've not got like 8 shows on the go.
My mate James keeps telling me that I really need to watch it.
I had that as well.
Awesome.
A couple of people tell me for months to watch it. I finally got around to watching it. I basically sat down and watched it all for 2 weeks. It's very good, and I think in a couple of months or something, the kind of last half of the last season is coming out. It's really good. It's some pretty phenomenal TV, and it's got what's the guy's name? The dad in
Malcolm
in the Middle.
I didn't know it was
Bryan
him, because
Cranston.
it doesn't look anything like him, and he doesn't act like him, so I didn't know it was him.
It turns out, as it turns out, he's actually a really good actor.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was kind of slightly mind blown. It was like Malcolm in the Middle's like the dad guy. I can't remember his name. Hal? Is it Hal?
Hal, yeah.
Hal.
Yeah. And I watched that. I was just like, wow. And it's like it changes as well.
Was that the actor actually learned how to make crystal meth for the making of the show? And also, if you watch Walking Dead, the blue pills that
no spoilers. I haven't watched this season.
Well, no, this isn't a spoiler, but Daryl keeps bringing out these blue pills from Merle's medical bag, and those are the same blue pills that are from Breaking Bad because they're filmed on the same set.
Crystals.
Whatever. I haven't seen Breaking
Pills.
Bad, so I
What's
don't
the
know. But
difference?
he says they're pills. He refers to them as
crystal,
blue pills.
not pills. So it can basically it's a powder.
Okay, but they're pills in. Anyway, they're from the same set, is what I'm getting at. It's a little homage to it.
Fair enough. No, I haven't watched the latest season of Walking Dead yet.
It's now on Netflix yet,
no.
which it will be in October, so you can watch it then.
October, is it? Oh, excellent.
It's when the next season comes out on AMC, it goes on to Netflix.
Ah, that makes sense. Cool. Oh, I'm going to be watching it in October then. It's like every single Walking Dead season so far, I've basically sat down and watched like in bulk at a time. So it's like
that's what
me started like last year. I watched the first episode, I think, of this season. And I basically just want to sit down and have like a week or two where it's the only thing I watch. But I'm quite looking forward to that. But I would quite like to be able to get a copy of it legally, as in on Netflix or something.
You mean you haven't been watching it legally? I'm surprised.
I know, I've watched all legally. I actually kind of got into The Walking Dead after I bought the first season on DVD on an impulse. I was just kind of like, oh, that sounds interesting. Bought it. I was just like, wow, mind blown.
Mind blown, yeah.
It was so much better than I had imagined.
I think
in the comics or anything, yeah, I've got one that I borrowed off someone months ago, but I haven't read it yet. I don't know. Have either of you guys read the comics? Are they good?
I've got Compendium 1. I haven't read it yet, but
oh right, okay.
I've had it for a very long time. I mean, you were there when I bought it, so that's how long I've had it.
Oh right, okay, yeah, fair enough.
So
if you get around to reading it, let me know whether it's worth getting or not.
From what I've heard, it's worth getting. But yeah, no, it's
the thing
something
is,
I want to do.
I don't know like how similar it is to the TV series. I don't know whether they've got
Not very.
or not. No.
I think from what I've heard, the further you get into the comic, the more different from the series it becomes.
Except for the fact that they've brought Daryl into it.
Yeah, like Daryl isn't in the comic originally, but he did so well in the TV series they brought him into the comic.
He's my favourite character.
He's most people's favourite character. He's definitely mine.
That's why he's been brought in.
My favourite one used to be how far can we go with spoilers?
Well, I don't know. End of season, anything on season 1 and 2, I think should be fine because people should have seen season 3 by now. But because you haven't, we can't talk about it.
Okay. You know the certain person who dies, the
oh, that fucking narrows it down.
The male character who dies that's not Shane.
Yeah.
I might as well just say who it is. You know the old guy, the one who was the camper. He was
Dale.
my favourite character.
Dale.
That's the one, Dale. He was my favourite character.
He was your favourite character, you just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. It's been a while since I was walking.
There's something I want to bring up about him, but I can't because it's a season 3 spoiler.
We've seen season 2. Halfway through season 2, there's like that big reveal, and then someone dies. Who was it? It's who I think it was, wasn't it?
Well, just say it and we'll find out.
I'm not sure if it was season 2 or season 3. That's why I'm checking.
Okay.
The little girl,
Sophie.
Sophie. Yeah.
The one who like runs away or whatever.
Yeah.
In the barn. Yeah. That's season 2.
I caught some kid at work, like streaming Walking Dead. I caught him just as that bit happened before I'd seen the episode. Most gutting moment ever. I sort of walked in. I wasn't happy. He got into trouble for that. Normally I'd have been like, fair enough, it's a good program, but because he ruined it for me, I reported him.
So you are not innocent of ruining things for people. What did you do with Fast and Furious? Which, okay, undoubtedly wasn't your fault, but you did ruin that.
All right. Does anyone?
Can I just prefix it with "It's Fast and the Furious"? How can you possibly ruin it?
Right.
I know.
Okay. Here it is.
Too.
There is an after credits scene to the latest one, Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. You've seen Tokyo Drift, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you know that a main character dies in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Who killed him?
Oh God. I can't remember.
Because they don't tell you.
That explains it.
The killer is revealed at the end of Fast and Furious 6.
Who is it?
A new
An
character.
actor that you love, but we can't tell you because it's a spoiler. But you like the actor.
A new
I'm
character.
probably not going to see 6. I haven't seen 4 or 5, so...
Alright, okay. Basically, my friend David had it ruined for him by his brother. And he was telling me his brother ruined it. And I've gone, oh, what? Does Jason Statham turn up or something? And he goes, oh, so you do know the ending then?
Oh,
Like, no,
Statham.
I was joking.
Serious.
Yeah. And then
Amazing.
I told James that story, and James gone, oh, I can't believe you already know who killed Han. I'm like, what? And so I turned around to David, who I thought had the whole thing spoiled, and said, James just ruined the bit about Han dying as well. And David's like, what? So, like this random chain of events that caused the whole thing to be spoiled for me and David.
Brilliant.
But do you like Jason Statham then, or was that John saying?
I'm a huge fan of Jason Statham.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like any Jason Statham film, I don't care how bad like the plot is, I like it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
It's so entertaining to watch.
after Crank 1, you know how ludicrous Crank 2 is going to be, but you still watch it.
Actually, maybe from Crank 2, I think I might have to make a section to what I just said with that one. I did enjoy Crank 2. I was just kind of like there, like, what the fuck am I watching?
But it's a show that knows it's over the top and stupid. It's not like they made it and people were like, "What the hell is this?" They know exactly what they did.
Yeah, I didn't realize how more crazy they could go beyond Crank 1. It was just like it made Crank 1 seem like a normal film.
See, I'm going to get slated for saying this, but I enjoyed The Mechanic as well.
I did too.
Yes, thank you.
That was a really good film.
I thought so, but I mean, like, David will listen to this podcast, and then I'll get a text from him shortly after to say, "What's wrong with you? You have issues."
It was just like, I don't know. He's like, I don't like most kind of like generic action character type things, but Jason Statham is like, he can act for starters, and
Yeah,
it's just his
Despite
films
what
are
people
just fun.
And one of the things I like is his the martial art he uses is the same one that Jet Li does, and I like Jet Li films
he's in
as
a
well.
film with Jet Li, isn't he? Is it War?
The one. Oh, he's in War as well, but
Yeah.
Jet Li's one he was in with him.
And he
Yeah,
does
so
all
I've
his
seen War.
stunts.
And what?
And he does all his own stunts.
Yeah, he does all his own stunts.
See, I'm really looking forward to Fast and Furious 7 because Statham versus, because it is, you know, at the end, Vin Diesel turns up at the end of Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
He turns up because Jason Statham kills Han and then rings Vin Diesel, or Vin Diesel's character. So it's going to be those two facing off by the looks of things.
Sure, I might actually watch 6 now, because if Statham's going in 7, then
You need
I'll
to
watch
watch
7.
4 and 5 before you watch 6.
Really? Oh.
Seriously, it's 4 isn't brilliant. 5 is actually an amazing film.
Seriously?
Seriously, 5
Oh.
is brilliant. 5 was one of the best films of that year. I think it came out the same year as Dark Knight Rises, though, so it was a bit tough to be the best film. I went out drinking last night, and in a club, my brother went up to the DJ and asked him to announce happy 40th birthday to Adam Goodenough. So I'm not happy.
Adam and Dave weren't allowed into a club last night because Dave was wearing a cardigan.
That's not the full story, but we'll go with that.
The way he told me the story went, so me and David were going into Oceana, and the bouncer went up to him and asked him to open his cardigan, and then we were told that we weren't allowed to enter the club, and I was like, okay, why? Then he explained why he wasn't allowed in, but it was the fact that you mentioned the cardigan, like it was a key point to the story.
I have to ask, why would you go to an Oceana?
Oh, don't get me started on that place.
Yeah, because we'd had alcohol, so we weren't thinking straight.
Most of his friends are chavs, and so they go to the chav clubs.
There we go. There's the other answer.
One of the clubs they went to last night is actually called Rehab. I don't know, is that a chain? Or is that a...
I don't know.
Did Amy Winehouse own it or something?
No.
See, I made a popular culture reference.
Well done.
There's a first time for everything.
You get a free cookie for that. Well done.
Oh,
You have to go and purchase it yourself, though.
Oh.
You actually genuinely sounded disappointed.
I was disappointed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm used to it. Anyway, so any more topics you want to bring up on this week's podcast?
I think I'm set.
I'm done.
Okay, well, thank you for listening and thank you for joining us. And like and subscribe, please, or Tell you what, Adam will buy you a free cookie if you click the like button. He'll buy you 2 if you subscribe.
Yay! Adam cookies.
Oh, man,
that sounds
I'm gonna-
weird.
And
Yeah,
thanks
that
for
sounds
listening.
good. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.